All right, and welcome to the East County Sports Report. I'm Ramon Scott, and I'm joined by Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. And Dave, catching up with one of your longest-termed advertisers and sponsors and friends, Scott Hopgood of the H12 Sports Academy. Dave, thanks for doing the show with me tonight.
I'll tell you what. I don't know how many stories. I've done a couple of pieces on Hop from building his fine establishment to playing minor league baseball, and from coaching at Sarah. I mean, shoot, I think I know his history better than I know anybody in the county, to be honest. But no, it's been it really has been a pleasure to not just business wise, but I mean probably one of our better friends and supporters in the East County. I mean, starting with my dad, of course. I mean, shoot, I don't know how many articles my dad wrote. He probably more than I could ever even remember.
Yeah. All the way back to high school, I remember seeing my name in the paper for the first time. It was an article he wrote. So, yeah, a lot of memories for me.
So we've done a lot of not just remodeling, but we changed locations. We shrunk down a little bit. We added some great features now. I mean, we already know about the hit track. I mean, but how about this new mound that you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we started H12 back in November of 14 when we were off Bond Avenue. The location wasn't too great, but the facility was, ample. And then, after 4 years there, it was just time to kind of reduce down and get simple again. And, the financial side of it, just kind of make it easier, profit a little bit more. And so that was we moved to Santee back in April of 19. And then the spot next to me opened up, and I thought about, taking that over. I'm like, nah, I like where I'm at. The overhead's not that much. We're doing 110 to 120 lessons a week. Things are good. And another guy moved in, and everything was fine. And by the time he got up and running, it was February, and then COVID hits in March, and it just killed his business. So not as a favor, but he goes, hey, you think about taking over my lease? Because he just started. And I'm like, you know what? Let me crunch some numbers and see what I can come up with. So I wrote a sweetheart deal for myself. And surprisingly, the ownership group accepted it. And I'm like, well, I guess I got to do it. So kind of forced my hand. But we did it quick. Knocked out a few walls, took down an office, expanded some stuff, just basically gutted it, all new lighting. And next thing you know, bam, we got enough room for a full bullpen. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a regulation sized clay dirt mound. And, again, just something that makes us different. And really curtails to the high school kid, the college kid, and the pro player that wants to get their work in. And COVID's just throwing everybody for a loop as far as what they can and can't do, where they can work out. So, this, I hope, that was the whole reason why I really did it, was so that people have a place to work out, specifically pitchers. You can't get on a ball field. So, and if you do, you get kicked off. So, we're separating a couple of days during the week where guys can rent it. They bring their own catcher, and they can come in and throw a bullpen. So that's one of the things that we've added. The second one was we added Rapsodo, which is sort of like the hit tracks, but offers a few other dynamics that the HitTrax doesn't, even though the HitTrax does some stuff the Rapsodo doesn't do. So we've got the hitting module, and the pitching one is coming in next week. So we'll have hitting and pitching for Rapsodo along with the HitTrax, and then we also have for our younger guys Pitch Logic that shows some stuff as far as arm angle and release and velocity and spin. So hopefully we're touching all bases, and also staying current with analytics and data feedback on one, with our instruction, and then two, you can see it on the data and see your improvement. So really happy about it.
Now the Rapsodo thing, that sounds familiar because I think it was Spears was talking to me about that in the first place, and he was actually telling me to mention it to yourself, to Mickey when Mickey was still over at West Hills, and even to Frank Coit, because he was looking for something like that, similar over there, and I mean he definitely it's like his pitching Bible, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, and really, I mean, and just to be simple about it, any good instructor can get a kid to hit or get a kid to throw harder, better location, and all that stuff. Sometimes you need the analytical side of it, the data, to prove to the player, look, what I just showed you makes your curveball break more, or you hit the ball further, you hit the ball harder, look at your bat path. So there's just the analytics side of it really is just validation for good instruction. If you have somebody, one, that can't understand it, and two, can't teach it, well, that's a recipe for destruction. So for us, we're fortunate that we have qualified instructors that understand the data and can give that feedback, along with seeing it on the HitTrax or on the Rapsodo or the Pitch Logic. So I'm really happy. That wasn't really the plan, but with all this going on, a couple of things you don't do. You don't buy a new truck, and you don't expand your business. And I've done both. So I don't know if it's genius or stupid, but either way, we've got 3,140 square foot worth of facility now. We got a full cage. We got 2 mid-sized cages, Rapsodo, HitTrax, Pitch Logic. And so you can throw off the new mound on the clay, or I have turf on top of it if you need to, if you just want to throw on your turfs. So it's just, we've kind of opened up as many options as possible so that people can get their work in.
Now, are you getting are you still getting a pretty good amount of softball players in there as well?
Yeah. And again, that's one of those things that, as a baseball guy, tagged as a baseball guy, I never really thought about, hey, I'm going to get in, start doing softball. But, it was over when I was at Power Alley with Kimmy. She just had a hitter that was struggling, and I worked with her for a couple of weeks, and she goes out for a recruiting trip and hits 8 bombs in her workout, and they give her an 80% scholarship. I'm like, well, maybe I can teach softball players. And if you can go back and forth, you got traditional softball coaches that go, a baseball swing won't work. And then my reply is, well, who says it's just a baseball swing? It's about point of contact and maximizing your bat speed. And I mean, I'm going to go on a limb and go, all my softball girls absolutely rake. Without spitting names out there, I've got, or H12 really facilitates for softball players as far as being able to maximize their swings, and showcase after showcase, a bunch of the girls that train here do very, very well, and have really opened eyes at young ages of 12, 13, 14 years old, to where, I mean, I've got 13-year-olds hitting the ball, 230. I've got a 14-year-old that went 291, both on the HitTrax and the Rapsodo. And it's nothing. Well, I say nothing special. It's just our instruction and our ability to get hitters to maximize their swing. So really happy about it. I don't know if I'd ever start travel softball, but I feel pretty confident in our hitters.
Is it something that, Scott, you have the data that comes across, and like you said, if you have good instructors, you said it, anybody, and not anybody, come on, let's be serious. I mean, you have to have some experience, not only in performing, but also in coaching. But could you look at a swing and say, well, you know what, I'm really not too sure about this player, what they need. Let me look at the data, and then you can go back to the player and say, this is what we should try working on, rather than just a hands-on approach at all times?
Well, there's people that have gotten jobs because they say they can do that. All the way up into the major leagues, they've got guys that are data analysts, and they look at charts. But you can't. You got to see it. You got to see it. And you can argue, well, how do you know that what's wrong with the swing? Well, I'm looking at it, and the ball will tell me. And maybe it's not so much the swing, maybe it's the approach. Maybe the grip's wrong and it's locking them up. And that's something you can do in your lessons is find out. I mean, it doesn't take many swings for me to see flaws in a swing, and then okay, well, why is there that flaw? What's causing that flaw? And that's what you need to fix. Because anybody, can stand at third base coach and go, "Come on, Jimmy, you're flying open," or you're rolling over. Well, why? That's our job, is to find the why. Everybody can see the result. You got to find the cause of it. So, like I said, we're real fortunate that we only bring in certain kinds of instructors that, one, enjoy their job. It's not so much for a paycheck. It's watching the kids succeed. A smile on their face when a kid who isn't very good starts hitting the ball consistently. And that's really our job, is get them to hit the ball consistently, consistently hard. That's really it. Contact, consistent hard contact. If anybody says, "Hey, get lessons with me, I'll teach you how to hit home runs," I would be weary. So, and same thing with pitching. It's the mechanics. Guys throw hard with horrible mechanics, they're going to blow up. So, hopefully, we'll continue our success. I mean, we're going into our 6th year, and I enjoy the fact that our instructors, we continue to learn and use the data that we see, and the lessons keep coming in. So
now I don't know if you want to break that one out or even discuss that, but you and I briefly spoke about it. I think it was probably about a month before they did the whole shutdown thing, about your specialty that you basically came up with, but
well, let's just say that I made a product improvement in a certain tea company, which I'm not going to name because I still like their product. Accidentally started making it, which I'd never seen in my entire life since I was 12. I'd never seen this tea, and next thing you know, it's on their website. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know what? I'm doing okay without it, but it would have been nice to have a little bit of royalties from it. So, but well, that sort of thing happens, and it's not just me. It's other people that come up with something, a product improvement, and then next thing you know, it's up, and to go to tackle them, take them to court for it's really not worth it.
And it just would be another nice thing to have, though. I mean, not even as much the royalties, which would be nice as well, of course, but just another tool in your shed, that your kids
are still using it.
Did benefit from, for sure.
I use it. Yeah, it's amazing that I got a couple of them delivered to me shortly after my heavy word in conversation with them. So, it's all good. I mean, seriously, there's stuff that's going to happen. And like I said,
Right.
doors aren't closing because I didn't get it. So be all right.
Scott, when Dave said you were going to leave the location on Bond to scale down, I was like, wow, I'm not surprised. I mean, of course, maybe the level of business or financial changes can account for things, but I just didn't get it necessarily. So to see how beautiful it looks behind you back there, I mean, you're a guy who prides himself on the aesthetics of your location. So I'm sure the larger canvas is good, and you're going to make it work.
Yeah, no, and then the thing is, Bond Avenue was working, and it really was. I guess it's just where I was with my education job. Now I'm working long hours, and we really relied in that space on team practices. We had instructors, but I was really the only full-time instructor. I had a couple part-timers, and that's just how it worked. It's hard to find good instruction, and it's hard to find just in any business somebody as motivated as you are with the same goal. And so I found myself I had really good instructors, but they could only work 2 days a week because they got kids or their job or whatever. So, in our fourth year, the rent significantly changed, and it was like, I'm working my tail off here and the profit isn't as much because the rent's going up, the overhead. So that's why really I reduced down and just did private lessons. Didn't really worry about team use per month so much. It rains and it's great and you're packed for a week, but that wasn't keeping the doors open. So it was really the instruction. So by going smaller, it kind of took some pressure off of me. And reduced down to 4 days a week and had those other part-timers fill in. And now, I've got a Santana alumni, Dallas Seidel, who's done a great job going from player to professional to instruction. And he's doing a great job. I'm very proud of him. Just for how he interacts with the players. And it's not easy. I've got friends of mine that bring their kids to me because they won't listen to me. And they're great players in themselves, but yet, they're dad. And sometimes you need somebody else to say something for them to listen. So Dallas is doing great. We still have Kimmy 1 day a week. We've got some other instructors, Jesse Jenner, also an East County product. He's doing catching lessons on Fridays. Carissa, who's a former D1 coach, she's in here 2.5 days a week. So we've got quality instruction, good instructors that know how to talk to kids, and I hope the feel is that they're coming here and having fun. Excuse me, having fun, learning, working hard, and when it's fun, it's not hard work. So we got about a 90% repeat clientele, and things just keep rolling. So looking forward to what's next for H12.
So really, you're at a point that's a pretty short amount of time for you to be working solely, really off of word of mouth. Wouldn't you say? It's like you just opened the doors yesterday, and then not only that, but then it's not like you moved across the state, but still you moving locations too. Sometimes that doesn't work out as well, and then as Ramon said, and then kind of downsizing, but you got the aesthetics though, and that's pretty much what people are gonna when they walk in. Even in myself, if I were gonna take my kid there, that's the first time I would notice is, man, they really use every bit of space, which you've done, and you should be commended in itself because you've done a lot of the work yourself.
Yeah, and other than, I mean, we gutted everything in both places when we opened up, but my instructors helped out. My brother, who's a contractor, I mean, he came in and it did a bunch of work, showed me a lot of stuff, so it made it easier the second, third, fourth time around doing remodels and expansions. So, like I said, finding those people that have the same vision, the same plan, makes it a lot easier. One as an employee, and two as an owner, to come to work every day and not feel like you're walking into a warehouse with some nets. This is, we got blue turf. It's a different environment. We got banners on there. We got music going. We've got hit tracks with 3 TVs and Rapsodo with large screen so you can see your data. I bought a soda machine. I can't believe it. Put that on my bucket list. I got a soda machine. So it's just we're going bigger and better, but the same denominator is quality instruction and having a good time doing it.
Scott, is the
And
rap?
talking about a good time.
Go ahead. I just got to ask, Dave. I'm sorry. The Rapsodo, is that? I saw some display on one of your on your timeline. Is that the giant white wall display? Is it projection display? Is that
No.
product? Okay.
No.
I'm sorry.
The Rapsodo's it's a box. It's about, I don't know, a foot and a half, and it's got its infrared, and it goes to my iPad, and then I screen share that to a big screen. The hit tracks is a larger box, and that reads it and sends it to a computer, and then we feed that to computer screens or TV screens as well.
Okay, because I saw one of the on your timeline, one display that it looked like it was projected on the wall, or just a huge display with the data, which looked really interesting. So
yeah,
okay,
no, that's just a screen share
okay.
with my iPad.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I was just mine was more trivial. I just think it's great being from, I guess, the same era and the same genre as far as he was mentioning the having a great time and then the music and everything. I mean, Hop and I mean, we pretty much come from the same musical background. I mean, every time I go in there, I mean, he's got something I can relate to absolutely from the good old days of the glam rock, the Guns N' Roses and the Rat and then stuff like that.
We
But
get
I
the
mean,
80s playlist going. 80s,
but
80s,
it's
90s.
but
Pearl Jam.
it's a like you said, it's a great atmosphere too. So it's not just all let's get down to instruction and
Right.
it's more of a laid back approach as far as I've seen, because I mean you really have to spend time in there. Like I've been in there on a couple occasions, even watching some of our East County guys, for whether it be from Grossmont or Steele. Danny Yanez was, I mean, he was there for a while taking instruction. And so, seeing those guys kind of grow up through there as well and benefit from, the instruction as well. And, you get to really take it in from all these different angles, yourself.
And you mentioned that, like I've got players that were 8 years old coming in and had no clue what they were doing. And now they're playing at showcases and, getting big D1 colleges talking to them. A kid starts at 12 and now he's driving to his lesson. You're watching these kids grow up. I mean, before I had kids, my players were my kids, and now that I have kids, I'm watching these kids grow up, and it's like, we talk about H12 family and H12 nation. That's part of it is watching these kids grow and see their confidence, and they're getting bigger, stronger, and and now they're pumping it in there pretty good on the velo when they're hitting the ball out of the yard, and you're like, man, I wish I had a recording of your first lesson just so you could see it and see how far you've come, because a lot of these kids, they get stuck thinking, well, maybe I'm not improving or whatever, and you're like, look how far you've come.
Right.
So that's one of the things you can't really put a price tag on is watching a player grow and succeed and then be successful, and then they're getting a scholarship. We just had a player take a scholarship out in Pittsburgh, and I remember meeting him at the Power Alley 7 years ago, and came in and he goes, I can't hit. And he was a big, strong dude. He goes, I don't know what I'm doing, because I can't hit. And he goes, I'm trying everything. And, so over the years, and him putting in the work. One thing I can put a stamp on this. I'll never take credit for anybody's success. I mean, everyone knows, or a lot of people know who I coached that was in high school around here that went on to a D1 school and did very, very well. And, just happened to win a championship and an MVP. And I'll never take credit for that. I mean, that's the player putting in the work. And, through the years, there's been players that have gone into professional ball or taken college scholarships. And, it's their work. It's the kids putting in the work. It's not anything that I've done or any of my other instructors have done. So,
and that's, I have quite a few really pleasant quotes, just in passing from Mike Spears, just talking about the way that you played, and he said he wasn't the all-star superstar like making the millions of dollars or anything like that. He said, but I tell you what, that guy, I never seen a player bust his tail like I saw the way Hop would bust his tail. I mean, he really put 150% in from day one, from as far as he can remember playing ball with you. Or I mean, a lot of, he said, I'd never seen a player strive so hard to become better, and he goes, and I really mean that, because I've seen, he said he's seen a lot of players play, and he definitely had great things to say about you, and you and Mike go back quite a bit.
Well, we played against each other in high school, and he gave us our only 2 losses in the league. He was at Grossmont, and I was at Santana. That's before they had the schedules they were, and we faced him both times, and he shoved both times against us. So it cost me a league championship. Thanks, Mikey. But then we ended up playing college ball together, and then a few years later we ended up playing pro ball together. So he's just a really good friend of mine. If I ever need advice or an opinion, I go to him because I know he'll be blunt, he'll be honest, and that's really what you want from somebody. And he's doing big things too. You watch, there's going to be some announcements coming up from him, and talk about a guy who's taken the path after baseball, and done well for himself, and now getting back into baseball the last 10 years or so. He's had to educate himself as well, and just like I do and my other instructors, we're always trying to stay up current and not be stuck in our ways. So,
did you ever try to recruit Mikey to come out there and?
Oh yeah, and we've done things in the past. He's done some pitching camps for us, and it's just one reason or another. I mean, he had his own academy for a while. We're focused on mainly just pitchers and the strength and training and stuff like that. And then, unfortunately, he got out of that. And like I said, he's got so many other things going right now that the time commitment, and he's being honest with me. He don't know what I can do for you based on the amount of time that I have. So, but we still talk a lot. I mean, we talk pretty much 3 or 4 times a week. So if you hear that, that's my kids calling. So
there's going to
anyway.
be some, Ramon, I'll tell you, I can't let the cat out of the bag yet, but we'll be hearing some Mike Spear stories very, very shortly here, and
Yep.
some pretty big things. Can't release it yet, but there's some real good things. I mean, right now, he's even got some. I can say he's got some minor league help over at Steel, just volunteering, helping those kids out over there. And it's not baseball season, but man, he's putting the work out there. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
What season is it in this world?
Jesse's real fortunate to have him. I'll just say that.
I don't know what season it is at this point. I think we're in baseball season, but I think we're in a bunch of other seasons too. Scott, are athletics making the right decision? Social commentary, sir.
Yeah.
We're
Hold
stuck
on
in
a second, real quick.
we're stuck in this rut. First of all, how's it affecting businesses like yours and our athletics? Are those we know high school's timetable now, and I'm not going to ask you to make predictions on that, but are we doing the right things as a society? And how is the pandemic affecting businesses such as yours? Not necessarily specifically yours. You kind of talked about it already, but where does athletic training and does it fall under the gyms category? Where does all that stand?
Well, first and foremost, we follow all CDC guidelines. We have 3 roll-up doors. We spray down everything. Instructors wash their hands after every lesson. The hitters don't touch the balls anymore. We're as wide open as you can get. The only difference is there's a roof on it instead of being outside. So, as far as social distancing, we encourage the parents to stay on their car, with the AC on, of course. We're already social distance. We're 20, 25 feet apart, and the cages are 12 feet apart. So, we've been doing fine, keeping the place clean, and, we haven't had any issues, and the kids get their work in. So, but as far as what we're doing, my other position doesn't allow me to talk too much on it, but, I guess the main thing is we just got to take care of each other, and if you got to wear a mask when you go into a grocery store, to wear a mask. We're going to get through this. And, for us, we're another outlet. I mean, the bigger issue is the mentality of these kids, being jammed up in a house for 2, 3, 4 months, not being able to do anything. I mean, it's like a trip to Disneyland coming doing a lesson because they get out, they get to do something. And so, again, we're just here to offer our services to let these kids be kids and get some work in and have some fun. And when it's all said and done, whatever it is, because what's right, what's wrong, be honest, nobody knows. You can read a report and say trends or whatever, but, for me and my family and everyone around us, we take care of ourselves the best we can. And when we're out in public, we do what's required, and hopefully we'll get past this sooner than later, and get the vaccine or whatever else is done, and move forward, because before all this, things were really, really, really good, and hopefully we can get back to that.
Dave, we might want to go over there and take some hacks. I think Scott's setting up like a league competition, and maybe you and I could square off like you promised me.
Hey, I absolutely. And then, like Scott said, he has to kind of put a cap on it and a lid on it. you like to keep a lid on it, but
I don't like to keep lids on things, but I'll let you guys do it in this,
But
this case.
I'll tell you what, I'm a little more outspoken than my father was. I just think that the bottom line is the death rate, if you will, has almost come to a not a halt, but it is actually COVID related, has pretty much disappeared, and we're getting people are getting through it just like a flu. Just like, I mean, it does spread fast. Get that? I totally get that. I was talking with Mike Jordan in at great lengths over at Grossmont College, and our thing was, you know what? These kids need to be, if possible, as long as they're using all the precautions that are recommended by the CDC, get them out on that field so the scouts can see these kids, because there are so many parents that don't have jobs and haven't had jobs to be able to afford to foot the bill. So the only other alternative is we need them on the field to showcase their talent, whether it be baseball, football, whatever sport it may be. And the scouts need to be able to see these kids, because that really, I think, is what's really hurting these kids, not only athletically, but also academically. You know, I mean, a perfect example. I'm glad he got through it at the time that he did. I don't know if you got a chance to see that, Hop, but did a small piece on Blake Schmidt's brother Logan, and you know he was in the top 20 student scholars. Got a student scholar award, and I think it was like $5,000, and he also did so great academically in the classroom, and he was just one heck of a player for being a smaller guy defensively for Monte Vista. I mean, he was just an all around and an eloquent speaker. I mean, he was my go-to guy. I didn't call no offense, Coach Hamamoto, but my guy was Logan Schmidt. Call him on a Friday. Okay, what do you got? Who was the top players tonight? Who do you think? You know, who would you give the award tonight? Who gets some ink? You know, and he was so aware and so eloquently spoken, and that's the kind of stuff that we need to stick with, and we need to get that stuff back out on the field, and we need to keep these kids on the field. And I fully 100% believe that, and would put my own children in that, on the gridiron, on a baseball diamond. So I'm not just blowing smoke and saying, well, you know, being hypocritical. I'm saying I would do it with my kids too, because you know what? I can't afford to send them to some of these schools. And if they got the talent, Sebastian, for example, had a great freshman year as a starting corner. Wasn't the biggest guy, but you know what? He knew the playbook. He was able to read the offense real well. That was one of the key advantages he had. He wasn't a big guy, but he knew how to read what the plays were going to be, you know. And he said, well, that he wasn't satisfied with that. He was like, yeah, but I want to be able to hit somebody. I want to be able to pick it off. And I'm like, that's the whole thing. But you got it all right there, man, because you're able to read what the offense is going to do. That's huge.
Well, I don't think anybody's arguing about getting back to school and being on the field, what it does for them psychologically, But like I said, in my other position, it's, we really have to make sure that it's truly safe. And if they're going to go off of data, then let's go off of data. If you're going to go off of region, then go off of region. That's fine. But I don't think educators or players want to just sit back. So I think first and foremost, make sure everything is safe as it can be. And then, I'd love to get those guys and the students back in classrooms. And who knows what the timetable is what's going to be for that. But in the meantime, we're here
and Major League Baseball's back, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Are they doing the right thing, Scott? Should they have gone into a bubble, you think?
No, I think they're fine. I mean,
Considering what happened today?
honestly, I mean, it's just a matter of time before everybody gets it. One time or another, everyone's going to get it. I mean, there's people that did nothing, sat in their house and got it. I mean, like I said, there's so many unknown variables. I think Major League Baseball is doing a great job. They're testing, and when somebody tests positive, and then they move forward, they do their quarantine, whatever, and they get going, because there is a sense of people do need to see this, and psychologically, people want baseball back out there, and credit the players for doing it, and everybody putting protocols in place, and hopefully we get past this and get back to whatever normal is.
When we come out of the pandemic, this is kind of given an opportunity for some athletes, maybe those are doing the work, Scott, maybe there's a chance for athletes to catch up a little bit. Maybe some of those that found themselves a little bit behind some of their peers, but maybe some athletes are going to rely on their natural abilities when we come out of this. So maybe getting to work, right?
Hopefully they're putting in the work. I mean, you got nothing else to do. So, I know a lot of people turn their garages into gyms and, put into work. So yeah, for that kid who, is a year behind or a late bloomer or whatever, this is a chance for them to spend another, 6-7 months in the weight room and get bigger, stronger, faster, whatever it is. So there's a lot of benefits to it. But then again, I mean, think about all the seniors that lost their senior year, how that affects colleges, how that affects recruiting, for those players that, may not be able to afford college and they need that scholarship. So I don't think anybody would ever say anything that happened with this is good. They threw a wrench in the system, but, we'll get through it and we'll move forward and we'll learn from it. And for us, we're here to offer what we can.
And what do you think about that too? I mean, I thought, that was one of the benefits, bringing Major League Baseball back and having the expanded rosters, being able to, see some of the talent that we otherwise might not have been able to see quite as quick.
We started a podcast and we talked about it as well.
Shout out that, by the way, too, Scott, if you can.
Oh, yeah. Off the Cup with Hoppy and Hobbs podcast. It's great. We're in episode 8 coming up. Good stuff.
Look where we started, Dave. Look, we started with Hoppy.
Yeah.
Got the way.
I'm going back to my broadcasting roots.
Yeah,
my father.
Right.
KOSON for all you old timers. KOSON 97.3. My dad was a DJ there for a long, long time. Me and Hobbs just go, why don't we just start a podcast? And he's actually produced a bunch. That's kind of his niche. And so we don't care if we get listeners. We're just going to talk and have fun. And now it's like it's doing well. So anyway, if you're on that 60 man, great. That's awesome. If you're not on the 60 man, that's where the problem comes in. That's where you got to go, wait a minute, what's up? And I know a bunch of minor leaguers right now that either got released or aren't on the 60 man, and they're scrambling going, what's my future looking like? So I think you're going to see a big explosion of independent minor league teams, because they're not going to bring the organizations are going to cut a bunch of money. They're already spending a ton and losing a ton. So I think you're going to see a bunch of independent teams show up, a bunch of independent leagues start up, and a lot of these towns that Major League Baseball's leaving would welcome in an independent team and give these guys a chance. You're going to see a lot of more guys going international. So is it a benefit? Yeah, because you get to see those young studs. Like I was really hoping Patino and Gore would stick it out on the 30 man, but you see where the Padres plans are going, and it's just like that for every other organization. So it sucks for those guys that worked hard and got ready and went to spring training just to have nothing for another year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with those minor league guys that weren't on the 60.
Dave, you know what we're gonna call the Padres at the end of the season, don't you? COVID-19 champs, baby.
Hey, no. Speaking of that, I don't know if you're able to discuss that too, but Hop has he has all kinds of things in the works, kind of similar to Mike Spears. His other day job. Are you still are you back on it again?
Yeah.
You've been a head coach in this conference. What else is going? You're a busy man, sir.
Yeah, and I have a patient wife, and I thank her for that every day. I've already missed 17 phone calls from my kids, so a bird dog for the Padres, and really it's a benefit that I've been around San Diego for a while and know the schools and know most of the coaches, and for me doing the scouting thing, there's not much going on. I mean, there's one league right now as far as college goes, and I'm not going to elaborate on it, but and then there's another league, I guess, up in Central California, and that's really it. There's not much for me to do except be here and do my lessons and take care of people that call and try to find other avenues. That leads into something that we're trying to get done right now, which is a hit tracks league, and try to have different brackets like under 13 and then a high school age and then a college and pro. But there's so many questions as far as start dates and online learning and what time that's going to go to and what time parents can get kids here. We planned on starting it today. We have a few people that have registered, and I had to put it on hold just because school's supposed to start the 19th. Well, now they don't know if they're going to push it back or what. So we put that on hold. But I'm going to be posting some stuff about bullpens for pitchers and some live ABs that they could possibly get, and get the word out to the high school coaches. And if we get a larger response with the little guys, I say little, 13 and under little league guys, we can find something after 5 o'clock during the week that we can maybe start something soon. So there's just a lot of variables, a lot of moving parts, and a lot of questions as far as when things are going to start.
And then you got, look who else is resurfacing. Maybe a little bit more details as far as that's concerned. Even Ramon, you might as well, with Scott and BR. I mean, I don't know. I don't see BR around much, but Scott Kaplan's really got some stuff going on, and I'm hearing, and I don't know if they've already done that, so I may be behind on that relaunch of the 1090 with those guys coming back on. That's what I heard. The word on the street was, did that already take place, or?
I think it's a done deal. I think it's something that's going to be happening. So, Scott, when you were out in Bond Avenue, you said you had a lot of teams. You had teams that were familiar with you and the location. The move to Santee, I got to think it's got to be more beneficial. I mean, there are some nice freeways that come right now to that area. Tell us your exact location and your phone number, sir,
Yeah.
where people can get a hold of you. Because you're gonna want to continue to work out and be ready, because before you know it, it's gonna be one of those seasons. It's gonna be baseball
Right.
season for the kids.
Good,
after the
good chicken too.
But
Well-
plenty of time to get the workouts in. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. Well, the good thing with the expansion is now we have more cage space, and we were actually running into that problem of being full, and we're doing about 120 lessons a week, and that's pretty much full tilt every day. So now that we've expanded, I'm able to add a couple more instructors and a little more flexibility. So we're over at 10744 Rockville Street, which is off of Magnolia and just south of Mission Gorge. And you can get a hold of us by either email, which is hoppy@h12sports.pro, or you can call the business line and leave a message. It has information on there. It's 619-328-1412. And, we've got a bunch of different things going. So, I try to stay current with the social media stuff with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And then, we have our Facebook page and our website, which I have to update. I really haven't had a chance to do that, but this information's still the same as far as getting a hold of us. And one-on-one lessons. We haven't been doing many teams because, well, we don't have the cage space because we're so full doing lessons. And in moving, one is closer because I live in Santee, and really the biggest complaint about being on bond was, well, it's hard to get to, and there were times where there'd be an accident and people would say, hey, I'm stuck on traffic, I'm going to be a half hour late. I'm like, well, I'm full, so why don't you just turn around? I think this is better centrally located,
Right at
for everybody.
67. I mean, how can it? I mean, there's ways to get all over from the East County to that location for sure.
Yep. Ramona, we've got quite a few people who come down from Ramona, and then we've got people that drive all the way from Oceanside to come get lessons. So real happy with the location, ecstatic about the expansion and everything that we're doing as far as data wise. And really, the shout out goes to my other instructors that have put in the time and the effort and been sincere about it. And they truly care about the players. And I think that's why, one, that's why they work for me, and two, because they're qualified. So
anybody that you can or cannot say locally that is taking lessons from you at the high school level at this point in time?
No, I mean, I like I said, for me, it's not about who's training here and who makes them better. When parents call or players call, there's been 20,000, 25,000 lessons that I've done as in the last 6 years. I mean, that's a ton. I mean, there's people that came for one lesson and figured it out amazingly, or then there's people that have been in there for the long haul, and it's not because they're still struggling. It's because they want to stay at the higher level. I mentioned the 8-year-old that's now 14, and she's one of the top hitters in the country. Very well sought after, and she's getting all the big names looking at her. She's been here since she was 8, and now her sister, who was 6, coming to lessons, or no, she was 5. Coming now, she's doing lessons, and she's actually further ahead than she was at 10. So that's fun for me. First, it starts with the dedication, one from the player and two from the parents, to one, trust our instruction, and then two, have their players being successful and putting the work in. So no, I mean, who trains here isn't important. It's what happens when those kids leave here that's more important.
Now, I guess the biggest question is, Top, is are you still having fun? I mean, that's got to be the biggest key. Is, are you still enjoying it as much as you were when you first opened the doors a couple years back?
Yeah, it's for me on a traditional day, it's a 14, 15-hour day, and then I get to go home and be daddy. and that's a job in itself.
Yeah,
Especially
got
with my
that
son
right.
right now. He's got energy. I don't know where he gets it from. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's now it's about watching the players grow and seeing, somebody tags you in a video that they put on Facebook and say, hey, he hit his first home run, or, he pitched 5 innings and struck out 10, or, those sort of posts that, that we've helped influence. I mean, that's, like I said, put a price tag on that. You really can't. So it's fun. And I wouldn't have continued to do it because, I know it's a strain because I am, busy. One, I know, trust me, when I get home, I'm tired, but it's a satisfying tired, just knowing that the kids I worked with and the other instructors worked with got better today and learned something. And so, yeah, it's gratifying. Hopefully, my kids will get involved and then I can turn into Coach Daddy, and I'll probably have to send them off somewhere for lessons because they won't listen to me either.
Well, I got 3 questions for you, rapid fire. We'll wrap it up.
Okay.
We can take a hint, Dave. Hoppy's got family duties, but these are easy
Oh, I
questions.
know those.
Dave, you can chime in too. These are going to be fun. We're going to get out of here. Scott,
Yeah.
DH in the National League, yes or no?
Yes, I like it.
Pitchers must throw to 3 batters, yes or no?
No.
And starting a runner at second base in the 10th inning in a major league game.
No, they should start at first.
Ooh, okay. That's right, because if anybody's who's seen this so far, you're just pitching around the first guy. Anyways, especially if you're the visiting team and the home team comes up in the bottom half, you're almost pitching around.
They're talking about speeding up the game. Speeding up the game, you got a guy in first. First guy hits a ground ball, double play, 2 outs. Right?
Uh-huh.
I don't think you stop it after a tie after 12, but you start a guy in first. There you go. Like I said, 1 pitch, 2 outs. There you go.
Absolutely.
So, double, game's over. So, here you get a base hit. No, they're going to bunt him over, or they're not going to bunt him over, and he's going to be stuck out there for 3 outs, and there you go again. So I think you put him at first. If you're going to put a guy on, put him on first. But that's just me,
We've social distanced from Hoppy, but we wanted to check in with him in what would be the middle of the would have been the end of the high school baseball season, but the middle of the baseball season for the major leagues. We're barely getting started.
Well, while I have a chance to, I mean, obviously we're supporting Hoppy, but I wanted to give a shout out to our continued at local advertisers too, which he knows quite a few of them himself, and that's Retro Sports. They've been doing great things over there. They slowed down a little bit too, like we all took a hit, but they were doing some concert stuff. But they do some great embroidery work over there. They're even doing. They were doing some of Grossmont High School's jerseys for a while over there too, and then of course Rob does a fantastic job over at Al Sports Shop.
Yes.
And I can speak from personal experience. When I went in there to get some cleats for Sebastian, his biggest thing, and he's mentioned it for years, is the quality of service, the service that he gives to each and every client that he has coming in there looking for gear. He takes the time spends the time with that individual, whether it be the parents and the kid or just the student athlete, to make sure that they're comfortable, in those gloves, in the cleats, whatever the equipment may be. But definitely, he's definitely a hands-on, one of the better ones out there, and he definitely is well known in the community out there. And then a couple other ones. We all know some great eateries that have been around forever and been sponsored forever. Monica Rios over off of 2nd Street. Probably one of the better pizzas, real pizzas that you can get out there. And they Pat Villani's been out there. As long as I can even remember, and they do a great job out there. Really good Italian food. They do some catering too, and I mean, we all know about that place. And then not to mention Ron Berner and his wife Barb. It's too bad they don't have both locations anymore. They had the El Cajon location. Now they have, but they still held on to the Mission Gorge location. Nicolosi's is one of the better Italian restaurants out also. And
Really good.
during goal season, if we can get that going, you can go out there and also see them out there. So another fantastic. My personal favorite, I always say, is the baked macaroni and cheese is freaking phenomenal. And then a couple other guys, Frank Coit's, him and his boys, and they got some construction companies that have really done a great job in the East County. Alpine Manufacturing, and then AGC also. So pretty well known, and they've been doing that for Frank's been doing that and coaching, and kind of like Hop. He that guy's on the phone. I think he has that phone glued to his head, but he does a fantastic job too. One of the better coaches in the East County. Doesn't quite get the credit sometimes, but he's really done a great job with the Matadors. Really turned that whole program around for sure in a short amount of time. But and then in case I forgot anybody else, but yeah, great local sponsors, including Hop. It's you guys that really keep us alive, and able to do some of these shows and then some of the ASB programs too, which they're going to take a pretty big hit this year, as far as all of them. I mean, football, baseball. It's gonna be a rough year, but I think, like you said, we're all going to bounce back, and I don't see ECS going anywhere. I don't see H12 going anywhere. I think we're going to all make it through this one. And this will be one for the ages that we'll be talking to the grandkids about this one. Just shaking our heads going, I don't know how we got through this one, but we did get through it. And talk about no live sports. Boy, that was that I think that was the toughest pill to swallow as far as I'm personally concerned. I mean, when I thought Peyton Manning and Tom Brady was, when I thought that golf game was, I mean, I think I worked graveyard that the night before, and I think I had 3 hours of sleep, but I set my alarm and I said, boy, that's live sports. I'm not even a golf guy. And I said, I got to see this thing. I want to see Peyton Manning see his golf swing. And hey, he didn't do too bad, but yeah, we got to get these sports going again. And I see it slowly creeping up, and even the NBA's got their thing going. And, hey, if we don't have any fans in the stands for a while, so be it. I think the NFL, hey, it might have to be that way. I mean, they already eliminated the preseason. Not really a big deal. I don't think anybody's really that concerned. But especially guys like Pat Mahomes making $400 million. But anyhow,
If you want to know what Scott Hoppy Hopgood really thinks about Dave, listen to his podcast.
That's right. Off the cup. Hoppy Hobbs.
Hey, and you know what? I intend to do so because I know that he's been a good sponsor of ours and listening to plenty of ours from wherever we broadcasted so many different freaking places. But definitely sounds like you got a winner going too, and
Thanks, bud.
maybe between the two of us, we can maybe even get Quintera and Kaplan and just make a big party out of it.
Well,
You know,
off the cup's going worldwide, so we're all right. We're good. Nationwide, worldwide. Hey guys, I really appreciate you having me. I really appreciate you having me and letting me get the word out. And to everyone in East County, keep doing what you do. We'll be all right. Okay. And a shout out to Lenny Gallo, who had a couple comments on there. I feel you right now, buddy. So anyway, my iPad's got to die. I'm on 1%. So
hey,
I appreciate your time, guys.
Thanks for coming out, Hop.
Appreciate it.
And for Scott Hopgood and Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens, and we just thank you for tuning in tonight. And stay safe out there. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.